Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, strap yourselves in. It's time for your Tilton Talk Show. We have the cheapest tops here at
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's 6:30, it's Monday night. This is what Mondays are for. This is, of course, the Tilton Talk Show, sponsored by Boyle Sports, principal sponsor of Birmingham City Football Club, and away we go. We are up and running. And a 4-0 win for the Blues over the weekend, so it was all smiles from me and all smiles from him. Joining us in the studio tonight will be very shortly Dave Latchford. He is on his way. And we've got Mr. Robe, Mark Andrew Adams, who is actually currently robeless, not completely naked, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't think that for one moment. But hasn't brought his robe with him. The gilet is back out. Winter's on its way. And Chris's beard is still growing. So there you go. So we've got Mark in the studio with us at the moment.
Yeah. Don't need Dave Latchford, do you?
No. Sitting out there on the Zooms, we've got Chairman of the Board, Mr. Alan Watts. Watto.
Good evening, everybody.
And Craig Courtney.
Good evening, everyone.
Have we got anybody else, Chris?
No. There's just us.
No.
Well,
we've got Chris, Nick. I mean, we can't forget Chris, can we?
Yeah.
I'm over here.
Hi, Chris, all right, mate.
There he is.
I'm the one that's doing all the work.
Yeah, he does all the work. He does all the work. He's not a pen pusher like me and Mark. Secretaries we are, Mark. Mere secretaries.
That's it.
Well, until Dave gets here, then we'll talk about the 4-0 win on Saturday. Almost couldn't believe
Nick.
Nick. Come on.
Oh, you've added another one, Nick.
What?
It's 3-0.
It said 4 on my phone. It did say 4, I promise you. It came up 4 on my phone. It did, Chris. I was thinking, oh, come on, two more. This is going to be one hell of a Monday.
Talk about the phantom goal to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the 4, I'll take the 3, I'll take 3 points. And I've been telling everybody from Stoke over the week, you only managed to score 3, we got 4. And
an absolute screamer from Ruddy. I mean, all the way from his own box. It was brilliant.
It's a Rabona from Ruddy, yeah.
In off the bar. That's all right. Got to keep our eyes open for Dave because he's hopelessly lost in the metropolis of what is Solihull, I believe. Solihull or Solihull?
Solihull, please.
Solihull.
Right. Solihull. Right. Okay. Right. Well, I'm really gutted. Only 3. We can only score 3. What a awful show that is, to be honest with you. We only scored 3.
It should have been. Well, it should have been more than 3. It should have been 5 or 6.
So. Go on then, talk us through it, Mark.
It's one of those games where you come out feeling that, well, you didn't want it to end. To be honest, Nick. Every time we went forward, we looked like scoring. It's the best performance for about 5 years.
Right.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Are you being really right? 5 years, best performance.
Honestly, it was absolutely superb.
Wow.
Most weeks you come out, it's like a chore, but this was just absolutely brilliant from start to finish. My only tiny criticism, we didn't score as many goals as we should have.
Well, I thought we got 4.
Well, you thought we had 4. So.
It came up, I'm joking, live score, came up 4-0. So, I can't blame anybody else but myself, but, there you go, never mind. What do you reckon, Alan?
Wonderful day. Fantastic. And if you read my blog last week, I said what we wanted to do was basically show off, get the people who can play to play, pressure the opposition from the word go, and we did all those things. The only mini complaint is that our strikers didn't score, but the goals came from their pressure. We were all over them, and we got corners, we got free kicks, and we scored from them, and can't complain really. And at the end of the game, when we started throwing subs on, the thing that struck me most was they threw Bellingham on, and I'm thinking, where's he going to go? And they took Bielikov and they plunked a young lad in his position, and he did it super. He's only on 10 or 15 minutes, but he did it superbly. It was no change. You were expecting things to weaken, if you like, but it didn't. And all the lads that came on, I thought we had a bit of a variation on the 3-4-3. The three at the back generally was four, because every time they came down one side, the other fullback came round the back. So we actually had a back four, and we changed it round. Obviously, we weren't going to get these wing back to wing back crosses going. We looked so solid doing it that way. Can't say too much about it. It was so good.
Can't echo that anymore either. I've got to say it was so nice to come away, not just thinking to ourselves that we'd actually won the game, but we won it at a canter. It was such a difference. And I met Mark outside afterwards, and I think we both said the same thing. I have not seen such a poor team by Pearson ever. So it was a great day, and well done to every single one of them.
Superb.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely superb. Brilliant. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the legend that is Dave Latchford has joined us in the studio. He's now switched his sat-nav on and managed to... You'll need a pair of headphones on there, Dave.
Okay, mate, let's just turn this
Yeah,
off.
up yourself, buddy, no problem at all. I better turn mine off and all, to be fair, yeah, because nobody ever rings me anyway. I've got no friends.
I've got no names.
I've got no friends.
You got no
No
friends?
friends, mate. No one whatsoever, yeah.
Okay. Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, how honoured are we on the Tilton Talk Show tonight to have in our presence one of the Birmingham City legends, one of the absolute greats, Dave Latchford. We always like to give our guests the clap, so yeah. Well, Dave, welcome thrice thoroughly.
Thank you very much.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, mate. And do you know what? Whew.
I made it.
You may have played in the very first game that I went to.
How old are you?
I'm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
80.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. It was 1973.
Yes.
It was against Newcastle, and it was the week after Tony Warrant had his leg broken at Newcastle. And then we played Newcastle at St Andrews.
Yes.
There were some problems with lighting or something
Yes.
through the cup. Through the cup. And if you played in that game, then you played in the very first game that I ever went to. And can I touch your foot for that honour, please? There you go. Dave Latchford's foot, girls.
You still wanted to watch us after
Look, tattooed on my arm, tattooed on my heart. My kids could sing "Keep Right On" before they could say "Mom."
Yes,
believe me. And back in the heady days, because like St Andrews was an absolute fortress. It was, and I can't. I'll get goosebumps every time I talk about it. Look at this, right? I can't explain to the young people what St Andrews was like back in the 70s.
No, I mean,
it was just incredible. The noise, the passion.
Yeah.
Some of the idiots, obviously. But we like to forget them because we don't dwell on them. But as a goalkeeper, stood there. Right,
yes.
You're right. You're in front of the Tilton Road.
The Tilton, yes.
The Tilton Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got us lot of mad idiots behind you.
Yeah.
What run through your veins?
It's sort of so much excitement and so much pleasure and passion because as a youngster, I was about 6 or 7 when my dad first took me down to St Andrews. My grandfather lived in Arthur Street in Smallheath, which is just across.
Just across. Yeah.
It was the old back-to-back houses.
Yeah.
I think they're all gone.
They've all
now,
gone. Yeah, all long gone.
But I can always remember. I don't remember the game, but I think it was about 40,000 there, and we used to have these. I thought they were dangerous weapons, these big rattles. I mean, if you got caught with one of those, you felt it. But the sort of atmosphere was tremendous. And to actually be privileged to go out on that pitch in front of that crowd, there is nothing like
beautiful.
the Blue Noses when they are in full song.
Yeah.
You used to get goosebumps.
I got
going up,
I got them now.
Yeah.
Just talking about them. Look at the hairs on my arm, Mark.
There were games because I can remember 40, 42, 43,000 in there. You couldn't hear yourself. I would be as close sort of as I am to you now.
Yeah.
And I'll be having to scream at people because you couldn't hear yourself. The noise was that deafening. Absolutely superb. And I tell you what, most loyal bunch of supporters
And I'm still there, really, 56 years
you
on.
would ever find, because you know Birmingham, and if you're a Blue Nose, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. But these supporters have stuck through thick and thin, and you've got to give them, a great round of applause for that.
It's been a very difficult journey, I must admit.
Oh,
Let's go back to the times where when we gained that promotion. Was it against Notts County? Was it? My memory doesn't serve me very well.
Don't ask me about mine.
And 1 minute there was 30,000,
Yes.
35, 40,000 in the stands.
Yeah.
The next minute there was 40,000 on the pitch.
That's right.
Not causing anybody any bother.
No.
And I had an England's Glory matchbox with a little bit of turf in it.
Yeah.
And I've lost it over the years.
Yeah,
It's
lost
gone.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a little bit of grass from that occasion, from that day in an England's Glory matchbox. That's how much it meant to you. You're actually walking on a place where 99% of the population would never get to.
No.
Yeah. And it was ours. It was part of you. It was
That's
part
right.
of your
That's
fabric.
right. That's
It was part of your life. It was
right.
it was your family, your forefathers,
Yeah.
your mums, your dads, your aunties, your uncle, and it still is.
Look.
And it's my children. It's now my grandchildren. And how proud am I to be 4 generations that I've known.
You've got to be a Blue Nose. You've got to, and sort of arc at me, the Brummies coming out now.
Yeah.
You've got to, which I'm proud to be a Brummie. I was, born and bred.
Kingston,
Sword, King's Heath lad.
King's Heath, yeah.
Yeah, and proud to be a Brummie, and that was my club, and I will always support Birmingham. I mean, I've moved around a couple of clubs, but Birmingham has always been my number one club.
Was it your number one club as a child?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
explain to the millions that are listening tonight around the world, and we do go around
Yes.
the world,
And Warrington.
first time you ever walked out of that tunnel for Birmingham City as a professional player, being a fan, your shoulders must have been 6 foot wide.
Again, it is hard to explain to having supported the club since I was a toddler, and then to actually get out onto that pitch and play for the club that I've always loved.
Wow. What a moment.
I can't explain it. I mean, I can't put it into words. It's such. I say for me, it's been a great honour for me. I've been blessed. For whatever reason, somebody thought I wasn't, I was not a bad goalkeeper. So I got to play for the team that I loved and supported.
Wow.
And,
Woo.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what?
Dave, you've
What a dream.
Not going to forget this
It
one for a
sounds
long
cheesy,
time.
it sounds corny, but what a dream.
Well, look, but the thing is, it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
giving you any,
Right, yep.
my heart and soul is Birmingham City. Always has been, always will be.
So somebody's know that, because once you've gone once,
Once you're
Once
there,
you've gone
and
once.
it doesn't matter. That club can up and down, which it has been, as you guys know. It can, but you will always support them. I mean, I've always said to people, if this club ever got any
status
kind
proper,
of success, you wouldn't get into that ground.
No.
You wouldn't be able to buy a ticket.
We had a glimpse of it, didn't we, the first year in the Prem and the Carling, Carling Cup and that. Like you say, Dave, just a glimpse of success.
Mike Hill says, hi Dave, I remember watching you and your brother Bob winning the FA Youth Cup at St Andrews about 1966.
Good Lord, 1966. Yes, that was. We
didn't win it.
No,
Oh, you got that wrong then. I got the 4 wrong. He got that one right. It's 1-1 now, isn't it?
I think we got to the final. We got. I think we lost over 2 legs to Sunderland. I think. Yeah. But you know what? The first leg at St Andrews, I think there were about 15,000.
Really?
15,000 people there for a youth game. Then in 1966. Yeah. And what a buzz that was.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes, of course you can, Craig. Up you go.
No, I was just going to say there's a few other questions that have come in, and one in particular takes quite a fancy for myself because I'm intrigued. I mean, firstly, I will say my dad saw you play and has immediately turned around, and I said to him, right, any stories? And he said, no stories. He was just too good. And I think that's the impression that comes across from all of the fans that are on the shout box at the moment. And the one particular question that just want to shout out from Don Kavanagh, he said he seems to remember that Dave wore green gloves and they were the ones in the day. So were they simply just cotton gloves, or did they have, like they do today, the additional grip?
No, they were just purely cotton green gloves. It was all very basic in those days. There was sort of nothing fancy, and it was just purely cotton green gloves. Yeah.
Another good question is from Martin Swinsker. Can you ask Dave if he ever got over Main Road 1975? I still hate Fulham to this day. I couldn't go to that one. I was listening to... I was actually living in Warwick at the time, and I was outside my house just opposite Warwick Racecourse with a radio to my ear. With I think it was Tony Butler was on at the time. Old Tony Butler, yeah. And I just remember crying. I just remember sobbing. Yeah, like I'm not crying, sobbing.
You weren't the only one.
I know I weren't. I know.
Yeah, my dad went to the first one. I don't think he went to the second. I didn't go because I wasn't born.
Well, the first one was at Hillsborough.
It was, yeah.
To be fair, we played poorly, but we got away with it. So the next game, because then there were no penalties or anything, you just had to keep playing. So Main Road, we thought, well, surely we can't. We've got to play a bit better, and I think we did. But it was, and this will live with me all my life. So I still remember this. It was the last minute or the last 2 minutes of extra time. For the whole 90 minutes, Big Joe Gallagher had eaten up everything. But this, I think the one ball came across from the left. It was a tremendous ball, and it actually beat Joe. And the Fulham centre forward, I know him, John Mitchell. He took the ball on his chest, and he strode into the penalty box. So I went out to meet him. He hit it with all that he could. It hit me straight in the face. It went straight back out, hit him on the shoulder, and went into the back of the net.
We never get the little brother green, do we?
No, but I will, trust me, guys, that one will live with me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That was a freak, but
you can't help it,
You can't help it.
It's the game, isn't it? It's the game, yeah.
The game is a great game, but it can also be very cruel. And there was a lot of tears that night, trust me.
I'm sure it can be cruel for players, supporters, families of players. We all feel it. We all feel that pain.
Of course, yeah.
But you know what? When we have a good one, we all relish in the glory and the joys and sorrows.
Of course, yeah.
Joys and sorrows.
I was going to say, Dave, when you got back into the dressing room after that, was it just complete shell shock? Was it complete silence? Or?
It was absolutely nobody could speak.
Yeah, couldn't hear a pin drop.
No, and I will tell you this story now. The worst thing that Fulham did was that they brought their chairman in, who happened to be Tommy Trinder. They brought Tommy, and they sort of wheeled him in on a chair, and we couldn't stand it. So all the plastic cups came across Tom. Just get out the room, please. We just,
Not the right time and the place
not
to do it.
the right time. Sorry.
No.
Nice guy, Tommy Trinder, good comedian, but
Yeah, very good
I
comedian.
think he got out there sharp because he could see the way the mood was, and you don't go into a team that's just lost in the semi-final of the cup and say, "Oh, bad luck, lads." Yeah. We don't want to hear it.
So you joined Birmingham City when way back in 1964, when I was the heady age of 3.
Oh.
Yeah, just 3 years old.
I wasn't born until 76, so I can sit back.
I saw you play in the youth team, Dave. I'm the same. I'm the same age as Bob.
Yeah.
So I played for Birmingham Boys in '66.
Yes.
And the reason they never signed me because Bob Latchford was playing for Kings Norton or whatever and was like 1,000,000 times better than me.
Babu. Sorry. Yeah. I know. I'm joking. Sorry.
Quality.
But, of course, you had another brother, didn't you? Peter.
Peter,
Yeah. No.
Has he played football?
Yeah. I will tell you the story there because sort of Peter was a goalkeeper, obviously, and Birmingham were interested in Peter as well, but sort of our dad put the block on that. He said, "I don't want 2 brothers and 2 keepers just in the one position." So Peter went to West Brom, so he ended up at West Brom, and then a few years later he was signed by the great Jock Stein and went to Glasgow Celtic, and the rest is history.
And of course, West Brom have sacked Stevie Bruce today, haven't they?
Have they?
Yep. Yeah. And they've now got. Help me out. Who's the interim manager?
I haven't heard, to be honest.
Thank you, Richard Beale. Yeah,
Richard
Beale. Thank you, Craig. Yeah, Richard Beale's gone in as interim manager.
Well,
and
I suppose not really a surprise, but
I'm quite surprised to see the Baggies right down there, to be honest.
Hey ho,
who cares? I don't care. No. I don't care about Bristol, West Bromwich Albion. I don't care about them up the street. I've had a Wolves fan in this afternoon, right, having his MOT done. As soon as he come through the door, I just shouted, "Fail." Right? That's just rules, right? Everybody in town knows I'm a blue nose, completely nutty through and through, right? I'm as mad as that. I don't care, right? I love all the banter, and I'd never get into any bother or fight or trouble with anybody. No. But I'm a brilliant rip taker. I promise you, I am brutal. And they all catch it. And I write these little reminders out.
Yes.
And I know the B6 fans are. I know who they are. Don't worry, right? Yeah. And then I always draw them a little Birmingham City sign on the reminder.
Brilliant. Oh, nice.
Share the love.
Yes, share the love.
Share the love. Yeah.
Can I just interject there? Some of you will be following the story of David Taylor, big blue nose, who was doing a bit of a walk in France a few days ago, and unfortunately suffered a heart attack.
Oh no!
David Taylor, I'm sat in a hospital bed in Caen, I think it's Caen, recovering from a heart attack, listening to the legend Dave Latchford.
He is a legend as well.
Reminiscing about the great days of the 70s. He's bringing back such happy memories. Keep right on.
Brilliant.
Thank you for that. And I hope a speedy recovery, my friend, and just keep right on.
Yeah.
And also for a good friend of the show, Tony Hemmings, as well, who's still in hospital, and he's been through the mill this last few weeks. And Tracy's in daily touch with us, giving us updates on how he is and one thing or another. And he's now in a position where he's had the fluid drained up his lung. Tracy sent me a photograph of how much it was, and it was frightening. It was frightening. It was horribly frightening.
Oh dear.
Tony, you're one of us. You're a blue nose. Your missus is a lovely, lovely lady. Keep right on. Best wishes, young brothers as well, mate. Keep going with the band, doing what you're doing, matey. And Dad, get well soon. Get back to St Andrews and get back out with us as soon as you can, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah.
Tony Hemmings.
Another question that's coming from Mike Ellis. Do you remember when Bob actually took over from goal for you in a first division match at St Andrews in the 70s?
Yeah. The answer to that, and I'm desperately trying to. Yeah, I think he did. I think he did go in goal, but I honestly can't remember the game. But I've got a sneaky feeling because in those days there were no subs there, and players had to go in goal. And to be fair, he wasn't a bad keeper, Bob.
Really?
No, and by the same score, I wasn't a bad centre forward, but I think we won't go too much into that.
We'll take your word for that.
I think we should have made this a family affair and had Bob in as well, to be honest with you.
I think so, yeah.
But the only problem was that sort of Bob could sort of run a bit quicker than me at that time, so I got shoved back and sort of Bob went up front.
Whatever happened to Bob? Just slipped into obscurity, didn't he?
Bob's the younger of the two, isn't he?
Bob
71.
Bob's the younger of the two.
Yeah, Bob's 71.
And Peter's the youngest.
There we go.
Peter's living in Scotland. He's retired. He's got a little small holding up in Scotland. He's doing very nicely.
Oh, good.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Dave, can I?
Yes.
Obviously, being the oldest of this group, they asked me can you remember Dave? And I said, yes, because I saw you playing the youth team. But what I remember about your career was when you got in,
yes,
then Blues tried other keepers, like Mike
That's
Kelly,
right.
Paul Cooper, Barry Sprake.
Gary Sprake, oh my God.
But you store them off. Everyone that came in, you got back in.
You know why? Don't you why? Because he's a blue nose. Yeah. He's a blue nose, mate. Through and through, kid. I promise you. I can feel it in the room. I can feel it.
Look, so the keepers, they sort of about the goalkeepers union, and that's true. Trust me, it's a fact. All goalkeepers will look after each other. But we all knew it's just a one position, so everybody had to be on the metal and just give it the best shot, and thankfully I came through.
Thankfully for us as well as fans, or else, we just wouldn't be sitting here doing this tonight for a start.
No.
And what this does, this creates memories for us older people.
Yes.
Like a night like tonight. I've been looking forward to this ever since your name was branded.
Oh, right. Okay.
I promise you. I absolutely promise you. Now, I've driven down from in between Stoke and Derby to come and do this tonight here.
Oh, lovely.
We normally do that every single Monday, but obviously because of COVID, we've gone off to Zoom. Thankfully that application has been available for us to allow us, and we did shows all the way through COVID.
Right.
To keep our Birmingham City fans together.
Right.
So that we've got somebody and someone to talk to on a Monday evening.
Right.
Every single
that's good then,
Monday. We did not have one Monday off. Unless it was like Christmas. Or something like that. Yeah. All through COVID for that year and a half, we blasted out the Tilton Talk Show. And people were so grateful that we were doing that, not meeting up, of course, but doing it through Zoom. And they were saying that this is their only outlet they've got to rejuvenate their love and belief in Birmingham City Football Club. Well, we do this because we're as mad as that, and we just love the Blues. I mean, look at this room here, right? I've got a museum at home, the Birmingham City Football Club. I promise you, right? I've got a whole room. Dedicated to the Blues, dedicated to the Blues, mate, and it's tattooed there.
I don't want to see any more tattoos.
Don't show him that one, please. Don't. Family show.
There's 3 good questions there, Nick.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, question for Dave from Lilypad. You'll always be a legend that holds many memories for us. So my question is, did you ever butt heads with any of your teammates at Blues? If so, who and why? And any players from the opposition?
Oh,
did you ever drop the Louis on somebody?
Did I ever? No, I don't.
I don't think you were that kind of a player, were you? Though.
No, well, no.
No, you were hard. Don't get me wrong.
At Blues, no. I mean, training and practice games always got a bit hairy at times because even in practice games, people want to win. So there was the odd handbags at 10 paces, and you've got to, calm things down. I mean, a few times. There were one or two players who were, how shall I put it, a bit more volatile than others. I can think
Kenny
of
Burns.
I can think of one or two Scottish players.
Kenny Burns.
I didn't say. Yeah.
No, I'll say it. I'll say it
Kenny,
because
yes.
I'll tell you why I
Yeah.
say it. Because I played football against him. He smashed them all into
Yeah,
my face
yeah.
at full throttle.
But you see,
Hey, I saved it,
yeah,
Ken.
Kenny wants to win,
Yes, he was a winner. He was a winner.
and when he put that shirt on,
Yeah.
he wanted to win, and you've got to have players like that. So you got the odd. I've had a few sort of run-ins with certain players. I can always remember we played Chelsea at St Andrews once, and the guy at the back, Ron Harris, they used to call him Chopper Harris.
Chopper, yeah.
Well, I think I probably, not deliberately, but sort of when I came out for the ball, I took the ball and Peter Osgood, and Peter was, out for the count. So, we, and about 2 minutes later, there was a corner, and Big Ron comes trotting up. Don't forget, there's about 40,000. You can hardly hear. And he went, David, I'm going to get you. I said, Ron, behave yourself. I said, you are well past your sell-by date now, and you couldn't catch me. I said, look, we will get a drink afterwards in the bar. And he went, okay then. So it was more a bit of banter, and I don't think I ever had any real issues where I wanted to really do damage to anybody.
Right, we're going to crack on because we've got loads and loads of questions coming in. Richard Hawkes now. Evening, lads. Can you ask Dave his most memorable moment as a player?
Oh, there are quite a lot. I suppose my first game, obviously, when I was in the first team, we played Bury at Gig Lane, and I think that was on a Tuesday night in front of about 6,000 people, and the result was 1-1. And then on the following Saturday, we were at Villa Park.
It's not a word.
So I'm sorry to say that, but anyway, and that was when Tommy Docherty was manager.
That's the postcode.
Yes.
That's all we'll use here.
B6. And I played in front of 6,000 at Gig Lane, and then I got to Villa Park, and there was about 54,000 there.
Wow.
Absolute.
10 times more.
Yeah. So, being young and quite naive, we sort of run out, and I go up to their end. I can't remember what end it is. The Holt.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll just give them a wave. You could see all the fans, the waves just coming down, and I'm thinking, I've done that, We lost 1-0, but I had a pretty good game, and he came over. But those two games I do remember, and the other one, it was a relegation battle at St Andrews. And we needed to win to stay up. Now I think, I could be wrong here, but I think it was Norwich. It was when Clifford Coombs was chairman, and again the gates were locked. It was an absolute full house, and I will say it's Norwich, but somebody might sort of.
Somebody will tell us for sure.
And first half we were 1-0 down. So we've got to win this game to stay up. So second half, we push Kenny up front. Kenny scores 2 great goals, and we win 2-1, and we stay up. Now, the manager said, go out, afterwards we go out on the pitch. You would have thought we'd have won the FA Cup. Yeah.
We celebrate staying up better than Manchester United would celebrate winning the European Cup.
There was myself and Roger Hind, and they didn't want us to leave.
Never.
But so
wish we were still there.
Those sort of memories will always be with me. And again, I have to say, what a great bunch of supporters. Thick or thin, that they will be there. Yeah.
Did you get a load of sort of complimentary tickets during the week? So, did you have a load of people there from your family and friends?
Birmingham City complimentary tickets.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Sorry. Look, they've...
They do listen, by the way.
yeah. If I can say that, again, Malcolm Page, and they've just not started, but they've got the Ex-Players Association.
Yeah.
Now, I think Birmingham were one of the last ones to sort of come on board with this. I mean, I can go back years. I can also remember Johnny Schofield, the old Blues keeper, and he used to say, "You've always got to go down the ground and buy a ticket because they wouldn't give him a ticket." And I used to say, "Scoey, but you played." But I do remember, yeah. So, in those days, Blues weren't great looking after their players, but they've come on. They've come on a bundle, thankfully. Yeah.
Was there any sort of opposition strikers you sort of saw their name and thought, oh no, do they sort of shake you up, scare you a little bit?
Not scare, but you used to,
bit nervy.
I mean, we were at St Andrews one week and it was Man United, and up front was Lord Charlton.
Was this when they scored first and we got, was it 4 or 5?
4, yeah.
I was in the Tilton Road.
Yeah.
I was in the Tilton Road.
Yeah.
Nick, you remembered something. Oh my life.
Yeah, so, Lord Charlton best, not a bad forward line, but we really gave them what for that day.
All I can remember was how packed that Tilton Road was on that day. It was you were like this. You were like you were being squeezed from every angle, corner.
Yeah.
And then when we scored, the surge forward was just absolutely superb, mate. Nobody ever got injured, did they?
No.
I know. Brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Oh God, blimey, that day! What a day!
Have you got any memorabilia or any mementos? Have you kept any shirt? I suppose you didn't really keep shirts back then, did you?
No. But I think the only
You still got your green gloves?
I'll probably use them for gardening.
I was going to say gardening.
I was say that.
I've got when I was in the when I scraped into the England youth side, I managed to get a jersey. Yeah. But that's about the only thing. There was myself, the two keepers was sort of myself and Peter Shilton then. We were in the England youth side, so that was good. Yeah.
Did you get a tankard for? Was it an FA Cup third place playoff the year after?
No, sir. No.
Okay.
Well, you should have. I'm quite conscious that we're some 67 comments.
Wow.
Behind Dave.
Yeah, can you scroll through a few and we'll ask a few more questions?
Sorry, it's me talking.
No. That's what we want you to do. Because what we would never do is understand your side of everything. So we want you to talk as much as possible, sir.
I've got a few questions. One from our very own Mr. Paul Hipkiss.
Our savant.
Yeah, he's. You mentioned at the beginning, obviously, that playing in goal, but sometimes you quite enjoyed coming out. So the question was, did you ever get close to close to scoring?
In my dreams. In my dreams. No, I don't think if I ever got that far up the pitch, I would never get back. So no, a nice thought, but no.
We've got Martin Swinscoe. After Bob moved to Everton, did he ever score against you?
That's a great question.
Unfortunately, yes.
He did.
Oh, I bet he's never let you let that down, has he?
No. No. It was at Goodison Park, and it was only one goal, but that was enough. I think it was 2-1 to Everton.
That's actually got to still hurt, hasn't it, Dave?
But yes, Bob has scored. If I can just mention, a story from Bob, myself, and Peter. When Peter was at West Brom, we were all three playing in that game. Yeah. Peter in goal, and I don't know if you know, but Bob's not a great lover of goalkeepers, never has been. Always used to give them plenty of...
niggle, should we
what
say.
for, yes, yeah. And I can always remember after that game, I think it was 1-1, and I got home, I was still living with my mum. And my mum tore me off a strip. She said, why did you let Bob run all over sort of Little Peter's hands? Now, Little Peter was built like a
brick house.
And I couldn't. What I'm trying to say is that
Shake and kill.
even with sort of siblings, if you're on the wrong side, you take no prisoners.
Clatter them.
You clatter 'em.
Because I tell you
Right.
what, that's what that team was well known for,
Yes.
renowned for.
Yes.
You knew if you were going to play Birmingham City back
Yeah.
in the 70s,
You'd be in a game.
you were going to get bruised. You
yeah.
were going to get battered.
Yeah.
And that's what we loved about it so much, because I was like, brick walls, you know, man. Yeah,
So-
get in!
So
I bet Bob didn't knock you about, Dave.
he couldn't get near me. No, he tried, but I no. Look, I know that lad from old, obviously. So, but Peter was a little bit naive, being the youngest, and but I don't think he ever did that again to Peter, because he'd have got. I think Peter would have hammered him.
I do remember that game against West Brom.
Yeah,
And he laid into him several times.
he did. Yeah,
You know, at any time, I mean, if you're running towards the keeper and the keeper catches it these days, they just run away. Not
of
Bob,
course
he
they
just
do.
Splattered them.
Yeah,
Splattered him. I think, well,
yeah.
what would you do to somebody you didn't like?
Well, precisely.
They were like wrecking balls back in the day, I promise you.
So different to nowadays.
Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah.
The big centre forwards
Yeah,
of those days.
Like wrecking balls, real proper hard people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They go through
yeah.
a brick wall. Those guys. Trust
What
me.
would we give for that team now of the 70s? I mean,
well,
how,
you know,
how much do you think it would be worth, Dave?
they'd be worth a lot of money. I mean,
Trillions, mate. Honestly, honestly.
I can
Solid.
always. I can always remember at the time the manager was Freddie Goodwin, and the thing with Birmingham in those days, if you went a goal down or 2 goals down, you knew very well with the forward line we had.
You could claw it back.
There'd be 2-3, and it was 4-3, 3-2. Freddie was tearing his hair out. If he could have got the defence halfway as good as the forwards, I tell you what, that team would have been unstoppable.
How did that team not win? It's obviously
Unstoppable.
before my time, but how did that team not win a major cup or anything?
I don't
I
know.
tell you what, go on YouTube, Mark, and have a look at some of them old games.
Yeah.
And the pitch would just be mud.
Oh, it was mud, yeah.
There was no
Yeah.
grass, just mud.
it was
Right,
level,
there'd be a
level,
divot in the
Yeah.
goal, a great big hole.
Yeah.
And the ball would be soggy and
Soggy, solid
Oh.
leather.
Rock hard, you don't want that
Yeah.
in the face.
oh dear. Wow. No, happy days.
Proper days, kid.
Proper days.
I mean
Proper
that.
days.
And
Yeah.
and I've been blessed, and I'm 60 years old now, Dave. Right? And
You don't look it.
I know.
You don't look it.
You're not the first to say that, and you probably won't be the last, to be perfectly honest with you.
65, yeah? That's really what you want to say.
But what a blessing to have lived through that, and to have seen it, and to witness it, and heard it, and felt it, and dreamt it, and you know, 2 paper rounds every week when I was a kid, just so I could get enough money to go to the Blues.
That's right.
And when I was in the army, I'd stay in,
Yeah.
iron everybody's shirts and
Yeah.
clothes for them for £3 a week.
Yeah.
Right, no matter where the Blues were playing on a Saturday, mate. That was my train fare. Wherever we were going, wherever we were going,
Brilliant.
yeah, and that's
just
what it
read this
is.
question from our friend Paul Collins, Gappy Cabby. He says, great to see Dave from a fabulous football family of brothers. Dave was a caretaker at a cemetery after retiring from the game. Dave, if you could revisit one season from your playing career, what season would it be?
Great question.
Yeah.
There's a few to choose from, Dave.
That is. I've got it. Yeah. That's a hard one.
Yeah, because quite a few were.
There's a few.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some. There was some great scenes. I suppose
I bet you're going to say 74, 75.
when we got promotion.
Right, okay.
Yeah. When we were the last game at. Come on, guys, tell me.
Orient.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Orient.
So we took half the ground with Blues fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That was a 69.
and Bob got the winner. So
72.
yeah,
72, sorry.
72. You see all these people
Cheers,
got all
mate.
the stats. I'm so pleased.
I promise you, I don't have a memory, right? Apart from certain things stuck in, like that Manchester United game, I will live with that one forever. 1-0 against down at Man United, and you come back and thrash them.
Yeah.
Superb, mate.
Yeah.
Superb.
Going back to the Orient game, I went to the Trevor Francis evening with my dad last year. I remember Trevor saying that game, there was darts coming onto the pitch.
That's right.
Glass
It was
darts.
crazy.
I saw a couple with a
Super
dart
cool.
in his neck at St Andrews once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we played, I think it was Chelsea, and there was bricks coming over the top of the
yeah.
cop and everything. It was mad. It was madness, mate. Proper madness.
Weren't a big.
Oh, this wasn't a little standoff. These weren't
No,
little
no.
standoffs,
Yeah.
mate. When you're stood in the stadium and the roof comes
The
down
roof
like
was
that,
like that,
and you can hear da-dum, da-dum, da-dum,
Yeah,
da-dum,
yeah,
and half
yeah.
an house bricks launching towards your head.
I know.
You get out of the way pretty
Of
quick.
course you do.
Did you ever have the joy of going to the Tilton Cop corner and going down them toilets?
Of course not. He's still here.
Exactly, yeah.
Good
Yes,
God,
I did actually, but
mate!
they
I tell
were.
you, it was like breathing pure acid.
It was, yes. Yeah, it was,
Hundreds.
pungent to say the least. Yeah.
Crying out loud, mate! It was half time, and there'd be like 7,000 people all trying to have a wee at the same
Kind of at the
time.
same time.
And
I know.
And not everybody made it.
And not everybody made it to that.
No, it'd be running down the cop, wouldn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Running down the cop, yeah.
Rivers of, yeah.
Rivers of Babylon.
Rivers of Babylon.
Jason
Awful lot of love for you, Dave, on the shout box at the moment.
Yeah,
We've
loads.
got,
Thank you.
I'll read out a few of the comments. Bill Mins, can you thank Dave for all of his fantastic service? He's a lovely man and was a brilliant keeper.
Thank you.
Michael Woods, just absolutely love hearing your passion. And I think that stands for all fans. I love it.
Yeah.
There's a question. You've mentioned to be a manager at one point there, but Nigel Mann has asked, who's the best manager you ever played for and why?
Well, there's been a number of managers. There's been one or two managers that shouldn't have managed. Well, in a moment. But I suppose, really, I've got to give it to Freddie Goodwin because he got together a side that was very, very nearly an awesome, and it would have been the old League One, the Premiership, whatever you called it. Birmingham would have been up there, So I think Freddie Goodwin was probably the best manager. If I can just briefly say, I'm not being disrespectful here. There's one guy he really shouldn't have come back was Stan Cullis. You remember Stan? Great manager at the Wolves in his day. But Stan came back and everything had moved on. And to be fair, the poor guy, he was lost.
Out of his depth.
He was really out of his depth. And he was quite a shy guy. I can also remember, if you remember the old training ground at Damson Lane.
Yes, yeah. Up the Coventry Road, yeah.
Stan used to get there early doors, and we used to sort of get in, and we'd see him. He'd be in the ditch and everything, and he'd be looking at the trees and having a look at the flowers, and thinking perhaps he likes nature, or sure. But I can also remember another thing. One other incident. He came up to me, and who the other player was. He came up to me, David. You please ask. I'll say Kenny Burns. He sort of, could you please ask Kenny that I want to speak to him? Well, Kenny was about 10 yards away from him, but he just couldn't go and speak to him. He just wanted me to say the boss wants to speak to you. A lovely guy, but I don't think he should have. Personally, I don't think he should have come back. But there you go.
Yeah.
But so don't get me wrong. Lovely guy, wealth of experience, but a wealth of experience for a particular time. Unfortunately, he didn't progress has got to do.
How did you feel then when Freddie brought in Gary Sprake? Because Gary didn't cut it at the Blues, did he? And then I do remember that one goal going underneath him.
I know.
And I think that,
You know,
I think we got on his back a little bit too.
I think, yeah. Sprakey, God bless him, he's passed now, but Sprakey was a very good mate of mine. And if you think about it, he had 50-odd caps for Wales, Welsh international. He was a very, very good goalkeeper. Playing for that Leeds side, it was like playing for Fort Knox.
Yeah.
He came to St Andrews, and it was like the Alamo. It was, trust me, it was like the Alamo. And unfortunately, he started off not very well, and most of his mistakes were on the TV or whatever. But I will always defend Sprakey because very, very good goalkeeper. It's just that he was at Leeds, God, for so many years, and he probably took the odd cross. He probably had a ball back to him. He came to St Andrews. Balls were flying all over the place. What's going on? It's a difficult one to try and. But no, I mean, for sort of all his mistakes, he was a good keeper.
All right, I'm going to mention two words to you, and I want your opinion. Clive Thomas.
Clive the Book Thomas. I'll give you a...
We hated him with a passion, kid. I tell you what, God,
I'll give you now a story. This is a true story.
These stories are gold dust.
About Clive the Book.
Mm-hmm.
We were at Anfield and we went out. First minute, Burnsy went up, scored 1-0 up. Bloody hell, sort of what's going on here? I sort of got a nosebleed. Then, after about 15 minutes, a ball came across, and I think header John Toshak put it in the net, but the linesman
Offside.
had put his flag up. Did Clive want to go across and see the linesman? Did he? No. So we literally dragged him across, got him in front of the linesman, and do you know what he said? He said, and I can't speak well, he said, I am the referee, boyo. I am the one that's in charge. Do not put your flag up only for throw-ins and corner kicks. The goal stood. True.
Joking.
He was hated by everybody.
That was
my dad. When he was
a true story.
Ian St. John, not Ian St. John.
Yeah.
Oh golly, what was the commentator on
Hugh
Star
Johns.
Soccer?
Oh,
Hugh Johns.
Hugh Johns. Hugh Johns,
Yeah.
that iconic voice of Hugh
Yeah.
Johns on a Sunday.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, when Clive Thomas come on, my dad would be spitting at the telly. He was just hated. What a referee! He was hated by
Because
us.
Clive was in charge.
Yeah.
He didn't want his linesman, and he was very uptight because he probably told his linesman, don't flag for anything other than throw-ins and corner kicks. I mean, we literally dragged him across, and then I think it was about 4-1 come half time to Liverpool. But at least we had a clean sheet in the second half. But what a day that was!
You weren't going to beat Liverpool side of the back in that day.
Not in those. No.
Very few people did.
Sort of. I think it was Toshak, Keegan,
Keegan,
one or two up
Toshak,
front.
Blimey.
But
Yeah.
we sort of made them think with a goal in the first minute.
Yeah, I'm sure
But then they thought and walloped us before.
Yeah.
I think that game was on Big Match Revisited a few
Yeah.
weeks
It was,
ago.
yeah.
I remember watching it.
Yeah.
There was a penalty in it where Joe Gallagher was getting pushed backwards
That's
by
right.
Toshak.
Right.
Toshak
Yeah.
fell flat on his face and he gave a
Yeah.
penalty.
Well, there you go then, Clive, eh?
Clive.
God love him.
Clive the Book, eh?
Yeah, Clive the Book Thomas.
Dave,
And-
one of the other questions that's come
Yeah.
is, out of all the time that you played, can you remember one goal that you've conceded that really stood out as being the best goal you had conceded against you? But also, who was the best player that you ever played against?
Oh dear. Well, I've given you three of Lord Charlton and Best. One of the other players, the guy at Tottenham, Scottish lad. Oh,
Strachan.
Sort of up front.
Up front.
Was it Archie's? No, he had like long hair, did he?
Archie Ball.
Gingery hair.
No, I'm
Ball.
going back.
No, that was before the Archibald.
Yeah.
No.
It's not Steve Archibald. It was before that.
Right.
No, but one of the best goals against me was at Main Road, and it was when Dennis Law was at Main Road. The ball came across. Dennis had his back to goal, a bicycle kick, and it was in the back of the net before I said sort of what happened there.
Dave, you won't believe this, but that match was the day after my wedding. And I was at the match.
Oh, my commiserations. Sorry.
It's a good job she's not listening.
Dennis Law sport my honeymoon.
Yeah, well,
Typical.
not a bad player to spoil your honeymoon, right, Dennis?
Bill Mitt says, can you thank Dave for all his fantastic service? Lovely man and a brilliant keeper, says Bill Mint.
Oh dear.
Tom Cavanaugh has also said, really nice hearing from Dave. Never heard you speak before, but for keepers especially, Dave never seemed to have a voice, especially when it would come to BBC and ITV in the day. What a gentleman you are, and what a keeper you were.
Thank you.
Lovely message.
Well, so thanks you. Thanks. It's just.
And what a humble man as well.
It's just an honour to play for the club that I love.
I thought you were going to say to sit in here with us.
And it's just an honour to be sitting here with these guys who are absolutely great. No, but sort of wish they are, but it's an honour to play for the club that I love, and I hope that I've given, I have given something back for the fans. That's all.
Man, this is just amazing tonight.
That's all that matters.
Amazing tonight.
One further, sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
One further one from me. In terms
Yeah, of course.
General question for myself. I'm the same as Mark. I was born in '76, so I never had the pleasure of seeing you play. But my dad, as a fan, was always talking about the teams of the '70s and how they stood out an absolute mile. So, who for you was apart from everybody says Trevor, but who was the other player? One player that you think really stood out during that time?
Blues.
In Blues, yeah.
Bob Hatton. Bob Hatton, without a shadow of a doubt.
Wow.
Bob Hatton.
Absolute talent.
Bob Hatton. If it wasn't for Bob Hatton, Trevor Francis and Bob Latchford wouldn't have got half the goals that they did. Bob Hatton was the playmaker. Bob can score goals, Bob Hatton, but he made so many goals for those two. And if you ask Trevor or Bob, they will say exactly the same. If they don't, I'm going to go around there and sort them out. But no, they will say that Bob Hatton.
And from us older people's point of view, what was it like playing with the likes of Trevor in your team?
Superb. What an absolute...
I mean, what would it be worth now? Just up to scale.
Trevor Francis, for me, in his early days, in his real early days when he was a youngster, was virtually unplayable. And if I can remember the one game where he had a bad injury, that's what slowed him down, was at Bramall Lane, sort of Sheffield United. Because Trevor is so quick, and as a youngster he was grease lightning, you couldn't really blame the defender, but Trevor was out of the tattle before the defender could get to him, and he just caught the back of his ankle and his Achilles. And I always say, after that, I think Trevor just lost half a yard. But until that game, and I forget sort of when it was, the kid was grease lightning. Absolute grease lightning.
Wow, what memories.
Do you reckon Trevor himself sort of realised, hang on, I've lost half a yard here? Did players that realise?
I don't... That's a hard one. No, because, I think players will always... You try to maintain your fitness levels, and he would always go out and obviously train and do the best he can. So I don't know. That's a hard one. You could always look at yourself as a player and think, hello, like say a goalkeeper, should I have got that? I could have got that 3 years ago. Hello, sort of what's going on here? Am I getting a bit?
Time does catch up with all of us, doesn't it?
Yeah. So Trevor. But I really think that was the game that sort of, for me, slowed him down. So I mean, he was still quick, he was still fast, but
did he have surgery?
I think so, but don't quote me.
Watto's saying yes.
Yes. Because it was a bad injury. It was a bad injury, and he was out for a long time.
I think I cried.
Our listeners are really testing your memory here, Dave. Dave, have you any memories of a tour in Holland, maybe Belgium, when it kicked off when Kenny Burns and Gary Jones were playing pool?
Excuse me, who's speaking about that? No. Yes, I do remember that. Kenny Burns and Jones. Yeah, we were. Where were we? I forget. Sort of Holland or Belgium.
Yeah.
No,
probably Belgium.
I think Jimmy Calderwood was out as well. I think the Scots lads used to like to sort of go out and have a glass of orange juice occasionally.
That's really
But Kenny Burns, Scots lad, couldn't drink a lot, Kenny. No, and that's what, and
he really couldn't.
And that is unusual for a.
Oh really?
He had a pub just about a mile away.
Yeah, I thought you were joking then.
Yeah. No, but sort of getting back to that question, yes. Kenny, Jimmy Calderwood, Gary Jones, they went sort of off the campus one night, and I think we were all playing pools in the bar somewhere, and then we just saw all the blue flashing lights and everything, and we all said, Kenny, so one of us went outside. Kenny, Jimmy and Jonesy were all in the bushes, hiding, police cars everywhere. Apparently, allegedly, I don't know for certain, but Kenny was playing pool in this pub that they'd found, not a very salubrious venue, and I think he possibly had a few drinks, said Kenny, and I think he was playing pool, and the cue went back, and I think it must have struck a female, and then after that, I don't know if chairs went up and tables went up, but I just know that those three lads were in the bushes afterwards.
I shall ask Kenny next time I see him.
Please do.
I will.
He'll probably did not. No,
we'll get back to him. Kenny won't probably say. Hey, I remember that well.
Yeah.
But I had the joy of sitting in Kenny's living room, and he got all the Scotland caps out for me. And we had some great laughs together, me and Kenny. Played football with him a few times. Always stopped in the pub on the way back. The Blacksmith's Arms at Marchington. And
tremendous player.
Yeah.
Look, but Kenny Burns,
funny. Funny.
He could play in any position, and he could play it well. And what a great asset that was. He could play at the back. He could go up and score your goals. Tremendous asset. Tremendous player. Yeah.
Wow. Mike wants to know what was Dave's first penalty save, and who was it against, and did we win the game?
Could you say that again, sorry?
Can you remember your first penalty save? And who was it against?
I'd like to say yes, and I'd like to give you the game, and
well, we will in a minute.
Go on then. I honestly don't know that one. Sorry.
We'll let you off for that then.
Thank you. Just, because I am an old man, so...
Don't worry, somebody will know in a minute.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Oh, there's lots. There's lots. Oh, Question you for Dave. On your body, Have you any tattoos? Or?
Any ink?
No.
No.
I think in those days, I don't think players were into tattoos much in those days. No.
It was beer.
Dave, how do you think you would have coped with the back pass rule as it is now?
Oh, I'd be all over the shop. I didn't know what was coming and going. Dear, oh dear, it's far too complicated.
What was your favourite away game? Your favourite away ground when the fixtures came out?
It's away ground.
Was the one you sort of really look forward to going to? Or any lucky grounds?
To be honest, I used to like the Manchester grounds, and I used to like sort of Liverpool and Everton because, again, the atmosphere and
right close to you.
And
Upton Park.
Upton Park.
Yeah.
They
on top of you, like looking down at that way.
No, so it brings you as well. Sort of, you're there. You know, it's yeah.
It always seems sorry, Craig. I was just going to say, it always seems like from a fan's perspective, it looks like a lonely place for a goal. You know, on your own in front of there.
Well, it can be lonely if you've just let the ball in, and you probably know. Well, that's down to me.
Had that one. Yeah.
And I've had one or two like that. Two, if you want to know about bad goals, I'm going to give you two really howlers. Both at St Andrews. The first one was we were playing Everton, and sort of Bob was there, but he did thankfully have anything to do with it. And we got Howard Kendall and Archie Styles, right? And it was a really bad day. It was raining and everything. And sort of Freddie said, "Look, I don't want any balls going back to the keeper in the middle of the goal. If you're going to pass it back, pass it wide of the goal." So the second half, Tilton. Archie turns round without really looking. I can see he's going to pass it back, so I step away from the goal, but he passes it back right in the middle of the goal, and because it's so wet, as I try to get back, I slip and I go down in the mud. And do you ever get these dreams when you're trying to get somewhere and the ball is just trickling into the back of the net, and I'm thinking, shall
Almost an Enkelman moment.
shall I stay on the floor? No, you had to get up. There was a hush. You picked the ball out the back of the net, but you get on with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
Because that mud became another layer of cement on the front of your shirt.
Of course. And the only other one I think was Ipswich. Sort of Ipswich Town again at the Tilton. I seem to have put those two at the Tilton. Somebody hit the ball from I think it was from left to right, and it was coming in high. It was quite windy, and I got it covered. I looked at it. I thought, "Oh, that's going." Again, you couldn't hear a pin drop. Pick the ball up, but you know what? That's what it's all about with goalkeepers. You can be the hero, and in the next instance, you can be the villain. But you have to get on with the job because that's the nature of the beast. So you try and learn from your mistakes, and you think, well, I'm not going to do that next time, or I'm not, but then something else turns up.
Did you, when you picked the ball out of the net, did you look up at the Tilton? And think,
No, I did not. I did not look up at the Tilton. Certainly not. I could just imagine the eyes boring down.
Can you imagine Facebook and places like that? Now back then.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Dave, I want to take you back to that classic game in the 70s against Liverpool, where we lost 4-3.
4-3, yeah.
Paul Collins wants to know, did Bob Hatton have a goal disallowed?
Yes.
I think he did.
Oh, right.
Again, don't quote me, but I think he did. But we were never, to be fair, Anfield, there's never been a great hunting ground for us.
What a game that was, though.
Oh, tremendous. I mean, we gave as good as we got.
I called it the game of the century.
Yeah.
And the Blues fans, the mini comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Here we go. Girls and boys, ladies and gents. Into the last 15 minutes we go. And the subject that we're going to be covering tonight is anything to do with children's books. I'll start you off with Enid Brighton And Alf Ramsey. There you go. Off you go.
Okay,
Anything to do with
explain
children's
to
book.
Dave
Children's book characters, anything you like. Off you go. Now this is where we have a laugh.
Oh, right.
Last 15 minutes of the show has turned into... He's just turned into mayhem, to be perfectly honest with you. We try to carry on now the best we can. Any good pranks played on each other back in those days, Paul Hipkiss?
Yes. Oh, God. There's probably quite a lot that
I've forgotten.
I have, and some that I've tried to do. I can also remember once we were playing away, and I was in a room with Trevor Francis, and I'd gone upstairs and just got me clothes out and everything. I just opened the door to just hang my clothes up, and Trevor was in there, absolutely with no clothes on, going and so I fell back on the bed. I thought, great, Trev, thanks very much for that.
What a memory!
But he thought it was funny, so.
Nick, we've got a few that are coming through. So
come on then.
Jordan James and the Giant Peach.
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
We've got Janet and Stern John.
That's a good note.
And Pete Taylor's in the lead, I think, with The Lion, the Witch and Mr. Roden.
Fame and notoriety.
That's right, that.
Malcolm Page has just come through from Tony Saul. And Jason McDonough, Troy Story Deeney.
Oh, yes, Jason.
Very good.
Very good play on words. Very good play on words. Thank you so much for coming and doing this.
Thank you very much for sort of inviting me. It's been great. It's been great to sort of go back over old times and happy days and keep right on.
Oh God, mate, I tell you what,
right on.
They were for me the best days.
Yeah,
the best.
Oh.
We didn't win a great deal.
No, but
it was the passion. It was the pride. It was the brick wall. It was the blood, the thunder.
When you put that shirt on,
and it was also that bloody great big horn in the corner. We only had one horn.
Yeah, no, it's all about putting that shirt on, and you're going out for that club, and you'll go through a brick wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, absolute legend, the one and only Mr. Dave.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. You've been listening to your Tilton Talk Show.